In this video, we'll create this Coke can. I created a free image plane and I imported the template we're going to use to make the can itself. In the front view, I'll hold down the space bar, I'll go to Create, CV Curve Tool, and I'm going to go to the attributes and I'll make sure it's set for 1. Then I'm just going to go in and trace the line that appears to the right of the actual picture of the can. In my perspective view, I'll center the pivot, and I'm going to move the pivot where I'd like it to revolve from. Holding down D on the keyboard and V, I can snap that to where I'd like it to revolve. I've chosen the top inside vertex. Holding down the space bar, go to Surfaces, Revolve Attributes, and in Revolve Attributes, I'll set it for Y. I've set the quad count to 200 and I'll hit apply. In my viewport I'll go to lighting, two-sided lighting. Center the pivot, delete the history, and I'll freeze the transforms. I'll move this out to see what I have so far. And what I need to do is merge the pivots at the center on the top and the very bottom of the can. I'll hit 4 on the keyboard and I'll right click and choose vertex. I'll carefully marquee select all the ones in the center on the top first, and then I'll go to Edit Mesh and choose Merge to Center. I've got the tool on my toolbar, so if you need to add tools to your shelf, you would hold Command and Control Shift together and then go to the menus at the top and apply that to the shelf. I'll go to the bottom and I'll do the same. I'll marquee select the vertexes, merge them to center. I'll hit 5 on the keyboard. And now we'll apply our texture. Right-clicking on the geometry, I'll go to Assign New Material, Arnold, AI Standard Surface. In the attributes, I'll name the texture, and then under the base color, I'll click on the checkerboard at the far right, and I'll introduce the checker. I'll hit 6 on the keyboard. In my object mode, I'll select the can. Holding down the space bar, I'll go to UVs and I'll choose cylindrical. I just want to make sure that these checker squares are actually square. I'll go to my UV and I'm going to choose UV Editor. I've got it on the dock. I'll click here. Hitting F on the keyboard, I'll zoom in on it. And I'm going to go to the Y-axis for the scale, and I'll just scale this so those checkers appear to be perfectly square. Hitting R on the keyboard, I'll scale it to fit inside my checkerboard in the UV editor, and then I'm going to clean up these vertexes here, so I'll go to UVs and I'll move those in over the can. These floating ones are going to be at the bottom of the can, the top, so the bottom we won't see, but the top we'll be using planar mapping, put the actual texture for the can top on. I'll right click and go back to my object mode. We're going to apply planar mapping to the top. I'll hit 5 on the keyboard, hold down my right mouse, go to face, and I'll carefully select the inside group of faces, holding the Shift key and the Control, and then I'll hold the Shift key and I'll tap the period to increase the range of selection until I have all the faces I want. Holding down my space bar, I'll go to UVs, and I'll go to planar mapping attributes, setting it for Y and hitting apply. I'll return to my UV editor. I'll scale it to fit inside my texture UV map. Returning to my object mode, in my UV editor, I'll go to image, UV snapshot. I'll set the size, making sure that it's a PNG and that the edge color is black, and I'll place it in my project folder. Next we'll go into Photoshop and we'll put the texture on.